Gentlemen, welcome to week 13. I'm going to not waste any time and go ahead and get into the power rankings. Starting out at number 12, it does not help when you are AFK and you also have a bad team. The Golden Opportunities at number 12. I don't feel like I need to say anything more. Coming in at number 11, the Beach Creatures. Purposely losing to get draft stock. So that's where his team is at the moment. So that's where the Beecher Creatures lie. At number 10, his team is better than the Beecher Creatures. He is AFK, but that's where they sit at the moment. Middle Tennessee Riflemen. I don't see them winning another game this year, but because of the Beecher Creatures taking this route, the Middle Tennessee Riflemen will ultimately lock up a playoff spot, depending upon how you feel about that. But he is operating under the rules, so that's how we're moving forward with that. At number 9, we have the Tennessee Colonels. Set up really well for next year. It's been super unfortunate for the Colonels all year, I feel like, with both how teams have performed against him and also how unlucky he's gotten in some certain scenarios. But the future is bright for the Colonels. Coming in at number 8, we have the Delvin Deer. This team right here is what's going to be scary in the future. Hodges is definitely going to be super well off going forward for years to come. And I'm very excited to see how the Delvin Deer match up. Because he's put up some ridiculous weeks without even having to try or it mattering. But, credit to Delvin Deer for showing that, hey, we're gonna be something to mess with here coming in the future. Coming in at number 7, similar team that again has sort of said this year's not our year, but we're going to rebuild for the years to come. The Huntsville Hitmen, again, another team that I would like to see a points against stat, because I always feel like Michael always runs into buzzsaws constantly. And it being unfortunate, but a reality of fantasy football. And so that's why I have him at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have the Shadow Troop. Unfortunately, not going to make the playoffs this year. This was a team that was on the fence. It could have gone either way if the Riflemen were to lose. And there's 2 potential teams that could slip out of the playoffs. But with a eventual win that is almost guaranteed now with Dylan, it's pretty the playoffs are pretty much locked up at this point. Everything else is kind of formalities. And so moving on to the playoff teams going forward, at number 5, we have the Bond County Coonhounds. Why are the Coonhounds at 5? Well, Ja'Marr Chase is questionable again. And so every time Ja'Marr Chase is questionable and then decides not to suit up, I can't move my lineup. And I have one move to make in the lineup that I would not move. But if he is questionable and doesn't play for the rest of the year, that could be a potential problem for the Coonhounds. So that's why I'm putting a very uncertain future on the Coonhounds and leaving them at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dallas Dragons. Honestly, I think anybody could win it at this point. But the 2 favorites are clearly the Pigs and the Looters. But I would not count out the Dragons or the Crusaders coming down to the wire at this very moment. With that being said, I have the Crusaders at number 3 Tyreek Hill being in your lineup is easily a huge boom weapon that Dylan's going to have, and it's going to work for him in the playoffs. And that's why I don't see a reason to drop him lower than 3. Coming in at number 2, Cali Pigs, probably the most consistent and the scariest running back room in the league easily. And so that's why I have him at number 2. And the juggernaut that is the St. Louis Looters, I can't ignore and take them down a peg, because Torbeck has solidified and earned that number 1 spot and that number 1 overall ranking going into the playoffs. One big announcement going forward. And so this has been a long time coming. It's been it almost happened last year, but it's going to be happening in the year prior. And I will be stepping down as commissioner and leaving the Gentlemen's Football Association officially. This has nothing to do with, directly to do with what happened this morning, rather a buildup of certain things. And I feel that it is in my best interest and probably the league's best interest, as it seems that I am not a part of it. I value you guys as friends, and so I want to keep it that way. And so I'm going to be removing myself from the equation. And if you guys personally want to ask me about it, I'm totally fine with that. But I'm going to not be here in the following year. I'll handle all of the stuff, handing it off to whoever needs to take care of it. But I will unfortunately not be a part of the 2023 fantasy football season. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all in the last week of the regular season, week 14, before we get to the playoffs. Thanks.